From the bowels of gentrified Brooklyn, in the heart of Medina, you're listening to the Bean Pie Chronicles podcast, the voice of the African American Muslim community, who we affectionately refer to as the Bean Pie community. Here on the Bean Pie Chronicles, we're committed to bringing you straight talk, critical analysis, and the diversity in thought on American culture and politics, and a glimpse into the everyday lives of the extraordinary men and women that make up the Bean Pie community. So kick off your leather socks and unpin your head wrap. The Bean Pie Chronicles is now on the air.
Assalamu alaikum. This is the Bean Pie Chronicles, episode 2 of the Corona era. We have Dr. Riyaad Abdul Quayuum with us. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How you doing, man?
Walaikum salam. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing good. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking time out to chop it up with us. You know, right now, again, like I said, this is the Corona era. And a lot of people are going to be on aside from the physical illnesses and the physical challenges that people may have to face. I know most definitely we're going to face some economic challenges. So I thought it was important under these circumstances to go and get some expertise on this matter. As I mentioned before, Brother Riyaad is not PhD, but a Doctor of Science of the science of economics. So you can go ahead and explain a little bit of the difference to the people.
Yes. So you know, not knocking the PhD. It is a doctoral, but what it stands for is a doctor of philosophy. The PH is philosophy. The dot is the doctor. So it's a doctor of philosophy in whatever field that they're studying, where a D.Sc, what I have, is a doctorate, a doctor of science in the field that I'm studying, or the field that I study, which is economics. So
right.
Yeah, so it's a different philosophical, or it's a different approach to how you have to study the subject matter that you're studying. So you know, of course, a doctor of science kind of is self-explanatory. Right. You have to go through the scientific method. Basic is, you know, that kind of governs the way that you approach the field of study, as right. opposed to, you know, I knew someone that got their PhD based off 2 + 2 = 3. And so there was this whole philosophy and this whole field of study that he went through, you know, through his philosophical study, he was able to gain his PhD. So it doesn't necessarily mean that what you study has to be correct. It just means you are a doctor in that field of study.
I think that was my math teacher, man. I think he had that one. 2 + 2 = 3.
Yeah.
All right, so we dealing with scientists here, folks. You know, Bean Pie Chronicle, we believe in getting the purest information. You know, me and my brother Fahim, we're philosophers ourselves. So people say, yo, we want some real hardcore data. And right now, because we're talking about this coronavirus, you know, you never know whether you listen to NBC, CNBC, or you listen to what's the other one, CNN. You're getting different scenarios. There's a lot of gray area. There's not a lot of definitive answers for people out here. But like I said, the one thing that we do know definitively is that there's going to be a lot of pain, economic pain distributed. You know, they're shutting down businesses. They're quarantining people. Even that whole right before the quarantine came, people are going to the stores and buying out all the paper towels and hand wipes. Right. So there's a lot of economics going on. And, you know, so I wanted to, you know, talk with you to see if there was some insights that you've had on this situation. First of all, from the economic standpoint.
Okay, yeah. So first, before I start talking, let me just tell you, I am in a working, living house. So I'm at home. So if you hear doors closing or something like that in the background, it is what it is.
Okay.
You know? So with that being said, so So this whole coronavirus thing is just gonna amplify what the Black condition in America has been and continues to be. And that is, we are working against two major factors. One factor is racism, institutional racism.
Okay.
The other factor is our strong hope, desire, belief that we are included in the American dream. So those two factors push against us in a way that we behave as if we're a part of the dominant culture, but we live with the results of institutional racism. So we further marginalize us. So racism marginalizes us a certain degree or certain sector, but then we further marginalize ourselves with terrible habits, terrible belief systems, and we further marginalize ourselves by teaching that to our children. So our children just repeat the cycle.
Right. So we talk about financial literacy. And so I guess for our people, you might have a financial illiteracy, right? Generally speaking.
It's I wouldn't say it's a financial illiteracy. It's a financial ignorance. It's a self-inflicted ignorance, because illiteracy means, it has a connotation that you don't understand, or that you don't have a grasp, or you don't feel what's going on. Where a self-imposed ignorance means that or you feel, even if you can't quite articulate it, you feel the pain and you choose to still run towards that. So that's more so what Black America is choosing to do. There's a certain aspect of our pain that we have no control, but there's a lot of it that we do have control over. And so I try to focus on what we have control over, because one thing that we're not going to be able to do is change white people's mind on where they want us to be within this society. Like, I've given up on that years ago. But what I hope to do, or what I'm will spend the rest of my life trying to do, is at least try to get one or two people to just kind of change those ignorant habits, those self-imposed ignorant habits.
So, I mean, Brother Fahim and I, we talk a lot about behavior modification. So that sounds like you're talking about, like you said, the self-inflicted behavior that we participate in, where, maybe those type of patterns of behavior is articulated or reinforced by the culture. We have the rappers, and we have, the boxers and the entertainers. We see them buying Gucci, and we see them aspiring to materialism and frivolous economic behavior. And for our people who, if you don't have a culture that teaches economics and proper economic behavior, then we look to pop culture to guide us. And so maybe some of these stars are somewhat being irresponsible, or a lot of them, as you find out later on, that they're pretty much ignorant as well. They just want to make money. They might have somebody handling their day to day, but if they make one false move, next thing you know, that they're broke. So we have like the blind leading the blind kind of scenario. Right,
and also too, with us being Muslim, one guiding principle that we always have, even though my message is clearly for all Black people, but there's one guiding principle that Muslims have, and that's all you can do is put in the right work. Your benefit is the result of God's mercy. So some people may make all the right decisions, work hard, so they won't necessarily do anything to bring detriment to themselves, but they may never get the $1 million. They get 100,000,
Right.
And that's what they get. But the point is to not put yourself into the category that you are the working poor. that you spend on ignorant things that you don't do. For instance, right now we're talking the coronavirus, everything that's going on, and it's right around the time that people get income tax checks.
Right.
The best thing you could do right now is, in my opinion, if you want to, because see, there's a time when you invest and there's a time that you flip. And Black people are the kings of flip. And this is the time to flip. And what I mean by flipping is day trading. Mm-hmm. And virtually every way that you have to make money in society today, you don't necessarily need a degree unless you're looking for a job. Everything that you can do to flip, you can get on the internet, study for a month, study for a couple of, and you're able to do it. So if you're getting back $6,000-$7,000, the stock market is decimated right now. Why wouldn't you invest $1,000 and day trade and just let it tick, upwards? That's all you need is to get it at the rock bottom, let it tick up 30, 40, 50 cents. If you put $1,000 in and it goes up 30, 40 cents, you just made a couple $100. Trade it right then, sell it right then. Now, worst case scenario. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Now, I mean, I hear a lot about trading. I have friends that trade, and I'm almost embarrassed to admit that I don't have a dollar. I maybe have a few dollars, but this is information I've always felt like, being a New York guy for generations, to not have someone who's an adept in trading, I've always felt like that was a problem. We're right in New York City with Wall Street right across the street, and to live in New York and not know about the stock market, I always felt like that was a problem. And a lot of my friends that are from a different tribe, or I don't want to say necessarily white people, generally speaking, but right. That the market is from what I can see is almost like a whole different part of the American culture that Black people unfortunately are not even aware of. Like to for you to say trade and invest in day trade, like the average Muslim or African American almost has no idea about these type of situations. So it's almost an alien aspect, but it's at the same time it's such a vital part of the American economic system. So it's kind of strange.
Yeah, and see, that's that self-imposed ignorance that I'm talking about, because every other commercial that comes on TV is talking about the $8 trade, TD Ameritrade, and all these brokerage firms talk about how you can trade now, and it's $8 a trade, it's $9 a trade. So that means if you go in and buy something at $1,000 and you make $300, all you're paying is the $9 plus the taxes. And it's something literally that if you're trading your own money, the reason why it sounds so mystical is because money is mystical to Black. Making money outside of a job is mystical to Black people, and it's because we choose to make it mystical. So Black people will learn how to flip, but Black people would not learn how to invest, the importance of invest. Black people will learn how to make money, but Black people won't learn how to save. So these are the type of things, and Black people will spend money, but Black people won't spend money on things that deteriorate at least at a slower rate than the stuff that we buy. Right. Rims and Black people hate to hear the stereotypical things, rims, music, big screen TVs, but at the same time, when you find out where the money's going, all the data points are out there. It's on things that have zero value, and they actually cost you when it's all said and done, because that same $1,000 that you on a big screen TV, or people going out buying $5,000 flat screen curved TVs and stuff, right. that same money that you spend on that, you could have spent $300 off of Facebook Market, Craigslist, something like that, and then use that other to actually make you money. So year after year, Black people are in debt. Year after year, black people have, I think it's single black mothers have like, I think I've statistics anywhere from $5 to $300 net worth. And every single year, they get thousands upon thousands of dollars in income tax returns, and they're not spending it on sending kids to public schools. And let me stop any feminists or people out there that say I'm picking on black women. I'm just talking about in general what our issues. So every year you have an opportunity. So if you hear somebody say something positive in 2017 and now it's 2019, that means that you're going on your second income tax check since you got the information and you still didn't act on it. To learn how to day trade, to go pick a stock that was worth $20 and now because the stock market crashed it's worth $5. For you to take $1,000 on a $5 stock that was just right before the coronavirus was at $20. If you spend $1,000, buy some stock and then wait for it to go up to $6 and sell it is nothing. For it to wait for the stock to go from $5 to $5.50, you could sit there for 2 hours, watch your screen, and literally make you some money. So, and with the software today, if you just do a little bit more study, you don't even have to watch it. You just set your parameters. I want to buy the stock at this, and I want to sell it when it gets to $5.50. The software does it for you automatically. So it's really not even day trading like it used to be back in the day, right, where you had to sit there and watch. But we have to learn how to do it. We have to take that step to do it.
So would you say that, like, it seems to me that the stock market seems to go through these phases where it's crashing and then it jumps back up and then it crashes again and jump back up? I mean, are you saying that people from other communities may be educated on how to anticipate these things, put their money in when it's at a point like this and wait for it to jump back up, and then you can sort of like pull it out at some point and anticipate the drop again, and then do the whole process over and over again? Maybe every 5 years you probably can rejuvenate your wealth by running it through the stock market machine. Like if you could predict it almost.
Yeah. So the only way that basically that you can lose money. Okay, let me be careful about this. So you have the philosophy of long-term investment, right? So that means the stock's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. That's where you kind of put your retirement money, because you pretty much know that when you retire that you'll make a little bit of money off the money that you. So that's long-term investment strategy. Then you have short-term strategy, which is like day trade. To where you can just go in there and you just make, the minute the stock ticks up, you sell it, you go on to the next thing. You really don't care what it is. It's just, it was at $7, it stayed at $7 for 3. Now it dropped down to $6.25. Let me pick it because I know it's going to go back up to $7. So when it hit $7, I'm sold. That's flipping. That's the type of money black people are used to making. Let me go buy some waters at 50 cents, go hit the street corner, sell them at $1. So you have that. But then you have where people are smart is, if I know that I have long-term investment money and I bought and my money went into that fund at a higher rate when times were good.
Right.
Now the economy dropped, right?
Right.
Now it's time for me to hedge against what I invested for long term. So if those same stock that I got at $20 now cost $3 because the stock market turned, then I need to buy those stocks. And it doesn't matter whether they ever get back up to 20. I'm hedging my bet, I'm hedging my investment based off of where I bought the original stock.
Right. So
now I'm not losing money, at least making the money back that I lost when the stock went down. So these are, we have this philosophy when it comes to street stuff, when it comes to, maybe flipping a car or selling TVs. selling fish sandwiches.
Right.
So we have this philosophy, but we just won't move into a category that will categorically change our life and put around a different circle and put us in a category that will bring us more money. So you can sell 1,000 fish sandwiches, or you can buy this stock at $1,000 and go somewhere and come back and it's already bought and sold and you make.
Those same principles that apply to the street also apply to Wall Street, and we
Absolutely.
just have to buy into the technology at this point.
And it's intuitive to us. So we have this hustle to us. We just don't want to change the venue that we're hustling in. We want to stay, instead of staying in, playing in Madison Square Garden, we want to stay at Rucker Park. That's all that matters. Rucker Park is it. That's it. I don't care about Madison Square Garden. I don't care about 15,000 fans. I don't care about the millions of dollars that comes with all my people at Rucker Park, and that's where I want to be. And so that's our economic.
Now, I mean, earlier from the beginning, you said that we have poverty based on our behavior, and then you said you have poverty based on the racism that is prevalent in the society. I mean, the education, we depend on the public school system for the most part to provide us with education. So, I mean, wouldn't it be fair to put some of the blame in the public school system for not educating us? I mean, we could definitely add this economics stock market to the public school system, or why are they not teaching the young black kids and the public school students how to day trade?
Because they're not teaching the white kids in public school system. That's not a part of the curriculum. That is home training. In public school system, they teach you how to add. They don't teach you how to invest. That's not what you do from the time you hit school from 4 to 18. Would it be great if they did it? But the fact of the matter is you go to 99% of public schools and they're not teaching that, whether they're white schools or black schools. Now, there's excellent private prep schools and private schools that they are teaching, but that's for the financially elite in a society, and there's everyone else, whether white, black, Hispanic, Asian, they're learning this at home. And not only are they learning it, they're seeing the results of it. And just, even if you tried it and it doesn't work for you, the point is that you want your children to be in a better mental and financial position than you. So if they see you doing these things, then it becomes a part of how they live their adult. So the point of life is to first create life, and then, Muslim, the point of life is to worship. But as a species, the point is to create life and then make life better, so it's easier to sustain life. Right. So you don't want your kids, like black people have this thing that they want their kids to live in the same messed up conditions that they lived in. Right. You 18, get out my house. It's just all the stupid stuff that causes young people that are trying to learn how to navigate in a very racist society. They're trying to learn how to navigate, and they're put in the terrible, debt, no type of education to train, no money to help them start off, and then the parents sit back after they messed up for 20, 30 years, and now they have a little stability and look down on their kids as if they came out 18 years old living their life this way. Life beat them up. So why would you want that for your kid?
Right. I mean, so we seem as though in this society we have ways of making income. So right now, with all of this coronavirus having its impact on the economy, people are losing their jobs. So if you're trained to be an employee, you're gonna maybe be fired now or be looking for unemployment situations. It seemed like the market crashed, but oddly enough, that provides opportunities for individuals to deal that are connected to the market, or who are studying the market and using the market. So is the market bulletproof in that regard? Like, is this something that we can rely on more than employment and the typical ways of making money?
Yeah, that's a fair question. And no, it's a supplement. So part of what you just said explains the self-imposed ignorance of Black people, feeling like we are truly a part of the dominant culture and society, meaning that you can never solely depend on your job. And what happens is, there, and I can't think of what the philosophy is right now, or what it's called, but it's based on the Pareto principle, which is the 80-20. And but based on that 80-20 rule, which is depending on how you look at, there's a comfort zone, right? And so that comfort zone, for high achievers, they never hit a comfortable spot. So once they get to where they're almost gonna move to that next level, then they work hard to move to the next level. But what happens with 80% of society, 80% of Black, is that we have a comfort zone. So once we're 10% above that comfort zone, so if your comfort zone is $50,000, once you hit 55,000, then you start coasting. Right. So now, here you come, now you're back at 50, because it's like, oh, well, comfort zone. Then you're at 45, so now you're 5. But once you get 10% below that, then you start scrambling, doing anything, trying to get a second job, making bad decisions, throwing your money everywhere, trying to make it. And so that's what keeps in this comfort zone, which is 10% below and 10% above, whatever your comfort zone is. So what we have to do is we have to stop being comfortable. Like, we cannot be comfortable because you got a job making $100,000 or $150,000. You should not be comfortable with that. You should always be working and striving for independence. And if you're not the one to be independent, you should be investing in something that's gonna make you money. Because everyone, I've had this debate back and forth. I personally don't feel everyone is strictly an employee. I think that's a lazy way to look at you. What I feel is that people are comfortable being an employee and don't want to do extra things. They don't want to get the TV shows when they got to do extra work. They don't want to give up the vacations, the additional time with their kids, those type of things. And life is a struggle. Right. It depends, and it just depends on how much of that struggle that you're willing to take. If you ain't willing to take a whole bunch, a chunk of that struggle, then you'll be an employee and you're dependent whether or not you get this check from this job and you have nothing else that you're working on. And your kids see that same and they do the exact same thing. So I don't care who you are, if you have a job and you're Black, you should be doing something else.
So it sounds like that's what we call multiple streams of income. Diversification.
Right, or just multiple opportunities, because you may not make money opportunity. You see, but are you willing to put your money into something that could possibly bring you back a greater return? That's where, so we are willing to put our money into a $2,000 flat screen, but we ain't willing to put $2,000 into the homie that want to open up a barbershop for a 5% stake, for a 15% stake in a barbershop. Right. That's the opportunity cost. Is you're saying that I don't believe in you enough, but I believe in this flat screen TV that's going to go on the wall. So these are those opportunities.
So what we're talking about on one level, when we say the education system fails to teach us or even inform us about opportunities like that, or perceiving opportunities, but at the same time we are taught consumerism. So consumerism is right. Definitely drilled into us most definitely.
Right, consumerism feels good for disenfranchised people because consumerism allows you to worry about consuming as opposed to building. So you stay in a self-imposed exile because we consume and we don't build. And it's a hard thing. Like, I get it, you know, and let me just say this. I'm not a smart guy.
Mm.
I'm not super intelligent. I'm no different. I'm just a street hustler like everybody. But the thing is I learn from other people's mistakes.
Right.
And a lot of times as Black people, our parents put baggage on us that if we learn from their mistakes, that somehow we're disrespecting. So if you see somebody live an unsuccessful life, it could be your parents, could be your grandparents, or if you see them live a comfortable life and you know you want more and you want more for your kids, it's okay to assess them where you feel like they went wrong, where you feel like they could do more, and then do something different.
It's funny. I hear a lot of times with African American Muslims in particular, because we're talking about money, and the only time you really get a conversation about money around our people a lot of time is like sort of either you hustling like oils and incense. We all know that type of lifestyle, but and even sadaqah, those type of conversations. But there seems to be a sort of like a perception that to be money savvy or economically savvy is somewhat haram or materialistic, or there's a poverty and a piety relationship that I think I hear a lot of it in the khutbahs and in the conversation that people have. And so I think from my experience, like, you don't really have conversations like this within the community about wealth and like working to acquire wealth in any serious or meaningful way. And it seems like there's a connection between poverty and like I said, poverty and piety that's I think plays an important part in our collective culture. I don't know. Are you aware of anything like that?
Absolutely, it's blatant, and at this point, it's purpose, and there are a few factors. Some of it is we as converts, reverts, whatever you want to call us, the Black community, we took on, some of our leadership took on a very bad aspects of traditionally Muslim cultures, bad aspects concerning how we view women, the machismo of these Arab countries and Asian countries. We kind of took that on. So in doing so, it doesn't lend well to you being humble in the sense of, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to money.
Right.
Or being humble in the sense of, I don't know how to turn $1 into $2, but I'm sitting up here in front of all these people giving a khutbah every week. So now I have to cover my shortcomings by making this a bad thing. Right. And it's a situation where you see successful white people, so you equate financial success with racism. When, in particular as Muslims, when the Muslims had to run from their life from Mecca, and they went to Yathrib, which is now Medina. Right. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first thing he did was say, "Where's the masjid gonna be?" You know what I'm saying? Right. Or his home, then the masjid. The third thing the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did was found a sister and said, "Set up a market."
Right.
So you can't have economic success is a part and should be inculcated within the Muslim society and the doctrine. And if you are today, maybe you could get away with that in the 60s and 70s, maybe even the early 80s. Once Reaganomics hit, if you're an imam and you ain't on how to make money within this society, within this capitalistic society, or I got an alternative option, in Ghana, they're gonna accept you. In Senegal, they'll accept you there. So I've set up an alternative option. But if I'm not trying to set up an alternative option, and I'm sitting up here taking sadaqah and alms from the Muslims, and I'm not on some empowerment, like talking that that's our issue. It would be more Black Muslims, it would be more Muslim communities, it would be more Muslim schools if we made more money. But when you having to make a decision between buying the baby shoes and putting money in the masjid, that's easy for me to answer. Masjid ain't getting no money, and I'm still gonna be there next Friday.
Right.
Our leadership has failed us across the board. Our Muslim leadership, our Black Muslim leadership in America has failed us across the board. And to me, that's more disheartening than the Asian and Arab community that have that in them, that have that hustle, have that let's work together, build this, and then you'll get a store, and then you'll get a store, you'll get a store, you'll get a store. They have that in them, but they keep it from us too, because there's a social hierarchy that they're trying. So that doesn't even disappoint me anymore.
Right.
What disappoints me is the Black imam that economic success isn't on their tongue virtually every khutbah. And if you can't do that and you're not trying to lead us to economics, step aside, because you've ruined enough generations of Muslims with this backwards, alhamdulillah, astaghfirullah, with this backwards, almost too spiritual approach to Islam. Right. We got to live in the dome. We got to eat, we got to build church, schools and not churches, but clinics,
yeah, food, clothing, and shelter. Your basic necessities.
We got to do that, and we're not doing it, and it's only getting worse.
So I would maybe attribute it, like you said, as African Americans, just generally speaking, we weren't educated about our own economic stability. We have a bunch of employees and employee-minded individuals. So now, just because you take Shahada, that doesn't mean that ignorance was filled with anything, right? And so if you're dealing with, taking your cues from maybe foreigners, maybe you studied Islam in a foreign land, or either in Africa, Senegal, or even in Arabian country, their understanding of American economics, that's not what they're teaching you. They're teaching you, quote unquote, religion. So in essence, the information that you went to school for, that is not privy to I don't know, I can ask you, like, how many communities and masters and imams have asked you to be a part of the board to help them set up some economic program within the community. Like, what I'm saying is, this type of information, the solid science of American economics, because this is American economics, this is an American system, and some of us have issues with our status as Americans.
Of it, because once again, you can't. What I do comes from an Islamic perspective and background, with the reality of being an American in America, in a united republic that worships capitalism. This is the baggage that I'm born into. So once again, you have two options as a Muslim leader of Black, indigenous Americans. That option is either you go hard on economics end, or you go hard setting up somewhere for us to go in other countries where we can actually survive and have a deep life. So neither one of those happened. Neither one of those happened and are happening now. And the detriment is, look at Black Muslim society in America today. Every year is less and less Muslims. There's more and more people leaving. There's more and more sisters marrying non-Muslim. There's more and more men, having, maybe one Muslim wife and got 2 or 3, non-Muslim wives and things like that. So this is what the current state of the leader has set in place.
The Bean Pie Chronicles is sponsored by Abu's Bean Pie Company, located on 1184 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, who reminds you, when you're craving that perfect bean pie, choose Abu's.